Hello, Temple Theater's community. My name is Sienna Castro.
And my name is Joel David Apgar.
Claudia Bolt.
Ethan Breitman.
Brianna Green.
Danielle Joswick.
And we are the student representatives of the Best of the Undergraduate Showcase Committee.
We are so excited that you all are able to join us remotely to celebrate the culmination of our wonderful work of our talented undergraduate actors from this semester.
We know these are trying times, and that in part is a large reason why we worked so hard to have this showcase live on, even if we aren't able to do so in person.
Coming together to share, celebrate, and support each other's work via this online format is our way of banding together to show the heaps of love that come from our department.
We're proving that theater, art, creativity is unstoppable even during this strange time.
With the help of the amazing professors in the theater department, we received submissions from 22 classes to show you all tonight. This is the largest number of participants that we've ever had in the Best of Undergraduate Showcase.
We want to thank you all for sharing your time, talent, unconditional love, and support with us. We're so grateful to get to celebrate the incredible work you've done during what we know has been a difficult semester.
We hope you enjoyed the 2020 Best of the Undergraduate Showcase. Be well, stay safe, and enjoy.
I'm glad you ain't got no whoop jamboree notions like Billy.
Well, Gary, it always seemed to me that a man always had enough to worry about. Getting a good sleep some nights where he's got to get up and put in a good day's work the next day, without looking for any special kind of trouble.
That's true, Enoch.
A man's got to make plans for his life, and then he's got to stick to them.
Your plans are turning out fine, ain't they, Enoch?
All according to schedule. So far. I own a little house and I sail a little boat, and the fish I catch I sell. And in the manner of speaking, I'm doing very well. I love a little girl and she's in love with me, and soon she'll be my bride. And in the manner of speaking, I should be satisfied.
Well, ain't ya?
If I tell you my plans and the things I intend, it'll make every curl on your head stand on end. When I make enough money out of one little boat, I'll put all my money in another little boat. I'll make twice as much out of two little boats, and the first thing you know, I'll have 4 little boats, then 8 little boats, then a fleet of little boats, then a great big fleet of great big boats. All catching herring, bringing them to shore, sailing that again, and bringing in more and more and more and more.
Well, who's gonna eat all that herring?
They ain't gonna be herring. I'm gonna put them in cans. Call them sardines. First, I'm gonna build a little sardine cannery. Then a big one. Then the biggest one in the country. Gary, I'm gonna get rich on sardines. We're gonna get rich. All of us. The first year we're married, we'll have one little kid. The second year we'll go and have another little kid. You'll soon be darning socks for 8 little feet.
For you building up to another fleet.
We'll build a lot more rooms. Our dear little house will get bigger. Our dear little house will get bigger.
And so will my figure.
Gary, can you imagine our little kids all asleep in bed? And you and me by the firelight? Me sitting in my armchair. And you on my knee? Maybe.
Maybe.
When the children are asleep, we'll sit and dream the things that every other dad and mother dream. When the children are asleep and lights are low, if I still love you the way I love
children are awake, go romping through the rooms or running on the stairs. Then, in a manner of speaking, a house is really theirs. But once they close their eyes and we are left alone and free from all their fuss, then in a manner of speaking, we can be really us. When the children are asleep, we'll sit and dream the things that every other dad and mother dream.
That won't be interrupted when the children are asleep and lights are
Oh, and behold, if I still love you the way I love you today, you'll pardon my saying I told you so. When the children are asleep, I'll dream with you.
You'll dream with me.
We'll think what fun we have had and be glad that it all came true. You'll still hear me say that the best dream I know is when the children are asleep, I'll dream with you.
Would you like a cigarette?
I quit.
That's right. You're off the Jack Daniels too, aren't you?
I've got a few more questions to ask you.
And I've got a few for you too. For my book.
You got something against ice cubes?
I like rough edges.
So what did you want to ask me?
How does it feel to kill someone?
You tell me.
I don't know. But you do.
It was an accident. They got in a line of fire.
4 shootings in 5 years. All accidents?
They were drug buys. I was working undercover. You want to tell me about Professor Goldstein?
That's a name from the past.
How about one from the future? What about Hazel Dawkins?
Noah Goldstein was my counselor my freshman year. It's probably where I got the idea for the ice pick in my book. Funny how subconscious works.
Hilarious.
Hazel's my friend.
Well, your friend took out her whole family.
Yes. She helped me understand homicidal impulse.
I thought you would have learned that in school.
Only in theory. But you know all about homicidal impulse, don't you, Shooter? What happened? Did you get sucked into it? Did you like it too much?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Tell me about the coke, Nick. The day you shot those 2 tourists, how much coke did you do, huh? It's okay. You can tell me.
I didn't.
Yes, you did. They never tested you, did they? Internal Affairs knew. Your wife knew, too. She knew what was going on. I think you got too close to the flame. I think you liked it. That's why she killed herself. You are going to make a terrific character, Nick.
Hi, I'm Nicole Mottershead, and this is The Type by Sarah Kay. Because when you fall in love, it is discovering the ocean after years of puddle jumping. It's realizing that you have hands. Do not spend time wondering if you are the type of woman men will hurt. If he leaves you with a car alarm heart, you learn to sing along. It is hard to stop loving the ocean, even after it has left you gasping. salty. So forgive yourself for the decisions you have made, the ones you call mistakes when you tuck them in at night. And know this. Know you are the type of woman who is still searching for a place to call yours. Let the statues crumble. You have always been the place. You are a woman who can build it yourself. You were born to build. Thank you.
My name is Peter. They got a basilica named after me in Rome, which is ironic, because back in the day, if you even said the word Rome to me, I'd more than likely beat you with my stick. I even had a standing role in my boat. Talk about Rome, your ass can swim home alone. I had to have those kind of rules laid down strong, though, because my younger brother Drew and his friends, well, they like to waste their time talking about the coming of the Messiah and overthrowing Rome, instead of focusing on the task at hand. And I'd always be like, look, unless your Messiah is going to come down right now and help us catch some fish, y'all better shut the heck up and put your undivided focus on these damn nets. Then one day Drew doesn't turn up for work. Comes running up to me at the end of the day while I'm bringing the boat back in. Talking about, this is Jesus, bro. He's the Messiah. I ain't fishing no more. I'm just gonna follow him. And this Messiah, who looked as much as a Messiah as I look like a ballerina tutu, strides up to me and says, catch any fish? And I says, no, I did not catch any fish. And he says, go out to the sea and you're gonna catch some fish. So I bring Jesus back out with me, intending to throw his ass overboard. But then, look, all I can say is that I'm a damn professional commercial fisherman. There is no one who knew the sea and its tides better than I did. There were no fish out there. But that's because they were all in my net. And Jesus says to me, follow me, and I will make you a fisher of men. And what I didn't know then is that I would never see the sea again.
I have this tradition. Something I do now when a friend dies. I save his Rolodex card. What am I supposed to do? Throw it in the trash can? I won't do that. No, I won't. It's too final. Last year I had 5 cards. Now I have 50. A whole collection of cardboard tombstones bound together with a rubber band. I hate funerals. I really do. And you know what else I hate? I hate memorials. Is this our social life now, going to these things? Nick was a choreographer. Now, many of you knew that. He didn't tell a lot of people, but he was waiting to invite you all to his big debut at Carnegie Hall or some shit so we could all be proud of him. But he was so good. He had such promise. We are losing an entire generation. Young men, at the beginning, just gone. Choreographers, playwrights, actors, dancers, all those plays that'll never get written, and all those dances that'll never be danced. In closing, I just want to say I am mad. I'm fucking mad. I keep screaming inside. Why are they letting this happen to us? Why aren't they helping us? And here's the truth. Here is the answer. They just don't like us.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die. To sleep. No more. And by asleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to, 'tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die. To sleep. To sleep. Perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of disprized love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death? The undiscovered country, from whose bourne no traveler returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied over with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pitch and moment with this regard their currents turn awry and lose the name of action. Soft you now. Fair Ophelia, nymph, in thy orisons be all my sins remembered.
Good my lord. How does your honor for this many a day?
I humbly thank you. Well.
My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed to redeliver. I pray you now receive them.
No, not I. I never gave you aught.
My honored lord, you know right well you did, and with them words of so sweet breath composed as made the things more rich. Their perfume lost. Take these again, for to the noble mind, rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord.
Are you honest?
My lord.
Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty?
Aye, truly, for the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what it is into a bawd than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. This was sometime a paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so.
You should not have believed me. For virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my beck than I have thought to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do, crawling between earth and heaven? We are errant knaves all, believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where's your father?
At home, my lord.
Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house. Farewell.
Help him, you sweet heavens.
If thou dost marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow. Thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery. Go, farewell. Or, if thou wilt needs marry a fool. For wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery, go, and quickly too, farewell!
Oh, heavenly powers, restore him!
I have heard of your paintings too, well enough. God hath given you one face, and you make yourselves another. You jig, you amble, and you lisp. You nickname God's creatures and make your wantonness your ignorance. Go to. I'll no more on it. It hath made me mad. I say, we will have no more marriages. Those that are married already, all but one, shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery.
Oh, what a noble mind is here o'erthrown. The courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword. The expectancy and rose of the fair state. The glass of fashion and mold of form. The observe of all observers. Quite down. And I, of ladies most deject and wretched, that sucked the honey of his music vows, now see that noble and most sovereign reason. Like sweet bells jangled, out of tune and harsh. unmatched form and feature of blown youth, blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me, to have seen what I have seen. See what I see.
Thus do I ever make my fool my purse. For I mine own gained knowledge should profane if I would time expend with such a snipe. But for my sport and profit, I hate the more. And it is thought abroad that twixt my sheets he has done my office. I know not if 't be true, but I, for mere suspicion of the kind, will do as if for surety. He holds me well, the better shall my purpose work on him. Cassio's a proper man. Let me see now. To get his place, and to plume up my will in double knavery, how? How? After some time to abuse a fellow's ear, that he is too familiar with his wife. He has a person in a smooth dispose to be suspected, framed to make women false. The more is of a free and open nature, that thinks men honest that seem to be so, and will as tenderly be led by the nose as asses are. I have it. It is engendered. Helen Knight must bring this monstrous birth to the world's light.
Set down. Set down your honorable load, whilst I awhile obsequiously lament the untimely fall of virtuous Lancaster. Poor key-cold figure of a holy king. Be it lawful that I invocate thy ghost to hear the lamentations of poor Anne, wife to thy Edward, to thy slaughtered son, stabbed by the selfsame hand that made these wounds. Cursed be the hand that made these holes, cursed the heart that had the heart to do it. If ever he have child, abortive be it, prodigious and untimely brought to light, whose ugly and unnatural aspect may fright the hopeful mother at the view, and that be heir to his unhappiness. If ever he have wife, let her be made more miserable by the death of him than I am made by my young lord and thee. Come now toward Chertsey with your holy load. What black magician conjures up this fiend to stop devoted charitable deeds? Foul devil, for God's sake, hence, and trouble us not. For thou wast made the happy earth thy hell, filled it with cursing cries and deep exclaims. If thou delight to view thy heinous deeds, behold this pattern of thy butcheries. O gentlemen, see dead Henry's wounds open their congealed mouths and bleed afresh. Blush. Blush, thou lump of foul deformity, for 'tis thy presence that exhales this blood from cold and empty veins where no blood dwells. Thy deeds, inhuman and unnatural, provokes this deluge most unnatural. O God, which this blood makes revenge is death. O earth, which this blood drinks revenge is death. Either heaven with lightning strike the murderer dead, or earth gape open wide and eat him quick as thou dost swallow up this good king's blood, which his hell-governed arm hath butchered. Villain, thou knowest not law of God nor man. No beast so fierce but knows some touch of pity.
Hi, my name is Dominica Passio, and this is a monologue from Measure for Measure. Most strange and yet most truly will I speak. That Angelo's forsworn, is it not strange? That Angelo's a murderer, is it not strange? That Angelo is an adulterous thief, an hypocrite, a virgin violator, is it not strange and strange? It is not truer that he is Angelo, then this is all as true as is strange. Nay, it is 10 times true, for truth is truth to the end of reckoning. O Prince, I conjure thee, as thou believest, there is another comfort than this world, that thou neglect me not. It is with that opinion that I am touched with madness. Make not impossible that which but seems unlike. 'Tis not impossible but one. The wickedest caitiff on the ground may seem as shy, as grave, as just, as absolute as Angelo. Even so may Angelo in all his dressings, characters, titles, forms, be an arch-villain. Believe it, royal prince. If he be less, he's nothing. But he's more. Had I more name for badness. Thank you.
Since what I am to say must be but that which contradicts my accusation, and the testimony on my part no other but what comes from myself, it shall scarce boot me to say, not guilty. Mine integrity, being counted falsehood, shall, as I express it, be so received. But thus, if powers divine behold our human actions as they do, I doubt not then that innocence shall make false accusation blush, and tyranny tremble at patience. You, my lord, best know, who least will seem to do so, my past life hath been as continent and as chaste, as true as I am now unhappy. Which is more than history can pattern, though devised and played to take spectators. For behold me, a fellow of the royal bed which owe a moiety of the throne, a great king's daughter, and the mother to a hopeful prince. Here standing to prate and talk for life and honor for all who please to come and hear it. For life, I prize it as I weigh grief, which I would spare. For honor, 'tis a derivative from me to mine, and only that I stand for. I appeal to your own conscience, sir, before Polixenes came to your court, how I was in your grace, how merited to be so. Since he came with what encounter so uncurrent, I have strained here thus. If one jot beyond the bound of honor, or act or will that way inclining, hardened be the hearts of all that hear me, and my nearest of kin cry fie upon my grave.
Before or after you killed the child?
I left it with her. I went for help.
I doubt that's what she'll say.
then she's a goddamn liar.
Hello, Agnes.
Hello.
I would like to ask you a few questions. Is that all right?
Yes.
And I would like to hypnotize you again. Is that all right too?
Yes.
Good. Sit down. Relax. You're going to enter the same pool of water again, only this time there are holes in your body. And the warm water is flowing through those holes. So warm, warm, so clean, like prayer. Your eyes are getting so heavy, so sleepy. Close your eyes, and when I count to 3, you'll open them. Agnes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Who am I?
Dr. Livingstone.
And who is with me?
Mother Maria Ruth.
Good. Now I'm going to ask you a few questions. I'd like you to keep your eyes closed, okay?
Yes.
I would like you to remember about a year ago, one night, a Saturday night, in the convent when one of the sisters died.
Sister Paul?
The night when Sister Paul died, what, do you remember?
Yes.
What's the matter?
I liked Sister Paul.
Agnes, what happened that night?
She sent me to bed early.
Who did?
Mother.
Did you go to bed?
Yes.
Imagine you're in your room. Tell us what happened, Agnes.
I woke up.
What time is it?
I don't know, it's still dark.
Do you see anything?
Not at first, but
What?
someone is in the room.
Are you frightened?
Yes.
Then what happened? Agnes?
Who is it? Who's there? Isn't you? But I'm afraid. Yes. Yes, I do. Why me? Wait, I want to see you.
What do you see?
A flower. Waxy and white. A drop of blood. Sinking into the petal. Flowing through the vines. A tiny halo. Millions of halos. Dividing and dividing. Feathers are stars. Falling. Falling into the iris of God's eye. Oh my God, he sees me. Oh, it's so lovely. So blue, yellow, green leaves, brown blood. No, red. His blood. My God, I'm bleeding. I'm bleeding.
Oh my God.
I need to wash this off. It's on my hands, the legs. My God, it's on the sheets. Help me clean the sheets. Help me. Help me. The blood won't come out. The blood won't come out.
Agnes.
Let go of me.
Agnes, please.
You wanted this to happen, didn't you? You prayed for this to happen, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Get away from me. I wish you were dead.
Agnes.
I wish you were all dead.
We had nothing to do with that man in your room.
Let me alone.
Do you understand? He did a very bad thing to you.
Don't touch me.
He frightened you and he hurt you.
Don't.
It's not your fault.
Mommy.
It's his fault.
Mommy's fault.
Tell us who he is so we can help find him.
It's your fault.
And stop him from doing this to other women.
It's all your fault.
Who was he, Agnes?
I hate him.
Yes.
I hate him for what he did to me.
Who?
For what he made me go through.
Agnes, who is he?
I hate him.
Of course you do.
God did this to me. It was God. Now I will burn in hell because I hate him.
Agnes, you're not going to burn in hell. It's all right to hate him.
That's enough for today. Wake her up.
Not yet.
She's tired and she's not well, and I'm taking her home.
She doesn't belong to you anymore.
She belongs to God.
She belongs to me and she's staying here.
You can't.
Agnes, what happened to the baby?
She can't remember.
Yes, she can. Agnes.
She doesn't remember.
What happened to the baby?
They threw it away.
No, after the birth.
It was dead.
Don't do this to her.
It was alive, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
Please.
It was alive, wasn't it?
Don't do this to me.
Wasn't it?
Yes.
What happened?
I don't want to remember.
But you do, don't you?
Yes.
Mother Miriam was with you, wasn't she?
Yes.
She took the baby in her arms.
Yes.
You saw it all happen, didn't you?
Yes.
And then what did she do? Agnes.
She left me alone with that little thing. I looked at it and thought, this is a mistake. But it's my mistake, not Mommy's. God's mistake. I thought I can save her. I can give her back to God.
What did you do?
I tied a cord on her neck, wrapped her in the bloody sheets, and stuffed her in the trash can.
No.
1, 2, 3. Mother, please.
You were right. She remembered. And all this time I thought she was some unconscious innocent. Thank you, Dr. Livingstone. We need people like you to destroy all those lies that ignorant folk like me pretend to believe.
Mother.
But I'll never forgive you for what you've taken away. You should have died, not your sister. You.
Why are you crying? But I believe. I do. Oh, no. Don't you leave me too. Oh my God. Oh, sweet lady. Don't leave me. I'll be good. I won't be a bad baby anymore. No, Mommy. I don't want to go with you. Stop pulling me. Your hands are hot. Don't touch me like that. I don't want to go with you. No, Mommy. Don't burn me. Don't burn me. I stood in the window of my room every night for a week. And one night, I heard the most beautiful songs imaginable. Came from the middle of the wheat field of my room. And for the 6th night, he sang to me songs I never heard. When I looked, I saw the moon shining down on him. And on the 7th night, he came to my room and opened his wings and lay on top of me. And all the while, he sang.
You've been gone for what? 10 years? And you come back now for what? What? To just dangle a little piece of candy in front of her heart to make it break a little more? When Cookie was growing up, she would ask me where her daddy was, who her daddy was. And I almost wanted to tell her, I don't know who the hell your daddy is. I was willing to label myself a hoe because I couldn't get you to love me enough to stick around and love her enough. Oh, fuck the money, Bucky! Why don't my daddy send me birthday cards? Mama, why don't my daddy love me, Mama? Why I got his last name and I ain't never seen his face? Money don't answer questions like that. No matter how hard you try, Buggy, I gotta keep making this shit up. Her heart is a spitting image of you. And that little girl's gonna be messed up if she don't ever know the other half of her. Sometimes I hate myself. I can't believe I brought another black girl into this world. This world ain't ready for no beautiful black, brown girls. This world will ignore her. This world will kick her when it's supposed to love her, bite her when it's supposed to kiss her, tell her she's ugly when she's really, really pretty. Rape her and blame it on her. A little black girl's got a big load to carry. And sometimes I look at her and I wish she'd never been born. Not because I don't love her, but because I love her. So tell me who you gonna be, Buggy. Her daddy or the world? Because I'll tell you one thing. All her mama is a little black girl who believed everything the world had told her.
Hi, I'm Megan Krause, and I'll be doing Rachel's monologue from The How and the Why by Sarah Treem. I was just thinking, it wouldn't be hard for me to get a key to the lab over Christmas. I bet they'd leave the power on if I asked them to. I know that isn't considered good for my psyche or whatever, but I mean, if your friend, Marie, is right, and the anti-pathogen theory of menstruation is wrong, well then, I really don't have time to take a holiday. I've got to get back into the lab and figure something else out. You had the grandmother hypothesis by the time you were my age, didn't you? Isn't that why you gave me up? You went into the bush. You saw how the primitive women passed their children around to their mothers, their sisters. It takes a village. Blah, blah, blah. You had a breakthrough, and you knew it was good. Good enough to carry you home. Good enough to get you tenure, but you knew it would be hard to take seriously a single woman with a radical hypothesis and a fatherless child. And since you never wanted the baby to begin with, spare me your little house on the prairie fantasies? You want us to go antiquing? You gave up your baby! I just want to work through Christmas.
Hi, my name is Kelly Holstrom, and I will be performing a monologue from The Monologue Show from Hell by Donzelitis. Isn't it funny how the voices in your head talk to you sometimes? I have two, actually. The first one, my favorite one, is Taylor Swift. I know, right? Crazy! It is so great having Taylor Swift in my head, though. It's like she's sitting on my shoulder and saying things like, "Shake it off," all the time. It's magical. Sometimes I even like to imagine taking Taylor home and showing her my life. Like, this is it. And she'll be like, "Your life is awesome! Yay!" We're such good friends. But sometimes I worry that Taylor Swift is getting bored because I'm just like an ordinary person, right? So that's when I like to thrill her. So this one time I went to Macy's and I was like, "Taylor, what would you do if I shoplifted this sweater right now?" And Taylor Swift got all worried and she was like, "Don't shoplift." So I was like, "Okay." So I went up to the counter and there was this nice lady there and she was like, "How can I help you?" So then I made my eyes go all crazy and I faked having a gun and I was like, "Give me all the money now!" OMG, Taylor was freaking out. It was so funny. So I tied the lady up with like a scarf or whatever, and then I grabbed the cash and I was like, run! And there's the security guard just chasing me. So I took this mannequin and I smashed him over the head with it. Boom. So he's like unconscious and bleeding or whatever, and then there's this alarm going off like, woo, 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 woo! It was so fun. Taylor was not bored.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Clutter, and I'll be playing Justina from The Little Flower of East Orange. Oh my god. Number 1. You're the one that insisted on going into a nursing home, not me. I just happened to strenuously agree. Number 2, I'm gonna have to take out a loan to pay for it till your Medicaid comes through, which I'm the one filling out that incredibly time-consuming paperwork for, not Danny and not you. And number 3, if this is hard for you, which I'm sure that it is, then you might want to also take into consideration, it's fucking really, really hard for me too. You know what? I'm not gonna have this conversation right now because somebody in this family needs to keep it together, and it's not gonna be Danny, and it's not gonna be you, so why don't the two of you go off with the rest of the wounded martyrs and the selfless saints while I play my usual role of the cruel, bitchy, hysterical, insensitive one, also known as the only one that actually gets things done. You hurt me so much, Mommy. You didn't know I felt this way. Well, maybe if you had 1 ounce of self-worth or self-respect, if you didn't let other people walk all over you, if you didn't forgive to your own detriment and think of everybody else but yourself, what's the use?
That you have wronged me doth appear in this. You have condemned and noted Lucius Pella for taking bribes here of the Sardians, were in my letters praying on his side because I knew the man was slighted off.
You wronged yourself to write in such a case.
In such a time as this, it is not meet that every nice offense should bear his comment.
Let me tell you, Cassius, you yourself are much condemned to have an itching palm, to sell and martyr your offices for gold to undeservers.
I an itching palm! You know that you're Brutus that speaks this, or by the gods this speech were else your last.
The name of Cassius honors this corruption, and chastisement doth therefore hide his head.
Chastisement?
Remember March. The Ides of March, remember. Did not great Julius bleed for justice' sake? What villain touched his body that did stab, and not for justice? What, shall one of us that struck the foremost man of all this world, not for supporting robbers, shall we now contaminate our fingers with base bribes, and sell the mighty space of our large honors for so much trash as may be grasped thus? I had rather be a dog and bay the moon than such a Roman.
Brutus, bait not me, I'll not endure it. You forget yourself to hedge me in. I am a soldier, I, older in practice, abler than yourself to make conditions.
Go to, Cassius, you are not.
I am.
I say you are not.
Urge me no more, I shall forget myself. Have mind upon your health. Tempt me no further.
Away, slight man.
Is't possible?
Oh, speak. Must I give way and room to your rash choler? Shall I be frighted when a madman stares?
Oh, ye gods, must I endure all this?
All this? Aye, more. Fret to your proud heart break. Go show your slaves how choleric you are, and make your bondmen tremble. Must I budge? Must I observe you? Must I stand and crouch under your testy humor? By God, you shall digest the venom of your spleen, though it do split you. For from this day forth, I'll use you for my mirth, yea, for my laughter when you are waspish.
Is it come to this?
You say you are a better soldier? Let it appear so. Make your vaunting true, and it shall please me well. For mine own part, I should be glad to learn of noble men.
You wrong me in every way. You wrong me, Brutus. I said an elder soldier, not a better. Did I say better?
If you did, I care not.
When Caesar lived, he durst not thus have moved me.
Peace, peace, you durst not so have tempted him.
I durst not.
No.
What, durst not tempt him?
For your life you durst not.
Do not presume too much upon my love. I may do that I shall be sorry for.
You have done that you should be sorry for. There is no terror, Cassius, in your threats, for I am armed so strong in honesty that they pass by me as the idle wind, which I respect not. I did send to you for certain sums of gold, which you denied me, for I can raise no money by vile means. By heaven, I had rather coin my heart and drop my blood for drachmas than to wring from the hard hands of peasants their vile trash by any indirection. I did send to you for gold to pay my legions, which you denied me. Was that done like Cassius? Should I have answered, Caius Cassius so? When Marcus Brutus grows so covetous to lock such rascal counsellors from his friends, be ready, gods, with all your thunderbolt, dash him to pieces.
I denied you not.
You did.
I did not. He was but a fool that brought my answer back. Brutus hath arrived my heart. A friend should bear his friend's infirmities, but Brutus makes mine greater than they are.
I do not till you practice them on me.
You love me not.
I do not like your faults.
A friendly eye could never see such faults.
A flatterers would not, though they do appear as huge as high Olympus.
Come, Antony and young Octavius, come, revenge yourselves alone on Cassius, for Cassius is weary of the world, hated by the one he loves, braved by his brother, checked like a bondman, all of his faults observed, set in a notebook, learned, conned by rote, to cast into my teeth. Oh, I could weep my spirit from mine eyes. There is my dagger, and here my naked breast, within a heart dearer than Pluto's mine, richer than gold. If thou beest the Roman, take it forth. I, that denied thee gold, will give my heart. Strike as thou didst at Caesar, for I know when thou didst hate him worse, thou lovest him better than ever thou lovest Cassius.
Sheathe your dagger. Be angry when you will, it shall have scope. Do what you will, dishonor shall be humor. O Cassius, you are yoked with a lamb that carries anger as the flint bears fire, whom, much enforced, shows a hasty spark, and straight is cold again.
Hath Cassius lived to be but mirth and laughter to his Brutus, when grief and blood ill-tempered vexeth him?
When I spoke that, I was ill-tempered too.
Do you confess so much? Give me your hand.
And my heart too.
Oh, Brutus.
What's the matter?
Have not you enough love to bear with me, when that rash humor which my mother gave me makes me forgetful?
Yes, Cassius. And from henceforth, when you are over earnest with your Brutus, he'll think your mother chides, and leave you so.
Why, man, he doth bestride the narrow world like a colossus, and we petty men walk under his huge legs and peep about to find ourselves dishonorable graves. Men at some time are masters of their fates. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, in ourselves, that we are underlings. Brutus and Caesar. What should be in that Caesar? Why should that name be sounded more than yours? Write them together, yours is as fair a name. Sound them, it doth become the mouth as well. Weigh them, yours is as heavy. Conjure with them, Brutus will start a spirit as soon as Caesar. Now in the name of all the gods at once, upon what meat doth this our Caesar feed, that he is grown so great? Age, thou art shamed. Rome, thou hast lost the breed of noble bloods.
One went there by an age since the great flood, but it was famed with more than with one man. Now is it Rome indeed, and room enough, if there is in it but one only man? When could they say till now, when talked of Rome, that her wide walls encompassed but one man? You and I have heard our fathers say, there was a Brutus once that would have brooked the eternal devil to keep a state in Rome, as easily as a king.
Hi, I'm Maggie Brennan, and I'll be doing Hamlet from Act 3, Scene 3. Now might I do it, Pat. Now he is praying, and now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven, and so am I revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that I, his sole son, do this same villain send to heaven. Why, this is hire and salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly full of bread with all his crimes broad blown as flush as May. And how his audit stands, who knows save heaven? But in our circumstance and course of thought, 'tis heavy with him. And am I then revenged to take him in the purging of his soul when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No. Up, sword, and know thou a more horrid hent, when he is drunk asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, at gaming, swearing, or about some act that has no relish of salvation in it, then trip him, that his heels may kick at heaven, and his soul may be as damned and black as hell whereto it goes. My mother stays. This physic but prolongs thy sickly days. Thank you. Thou art not wholly to belie me so. I am not mad. This hair I tear is mine. My name is Constance. I was Geoffrey's wife. Young Arthur is my son, and he is lost. I am not mad. I would to heaven I were. For then 'tis like I should forget myself. Oh, if I could, what grief would I forget? Preach some philosophy to make me mad, and thou shalt be canonized cardinal. For being not mad, but sensible of grief, my reasonable part produces reason, how I may be delivered of these woes, and teaches me to kill or hang myself. If I were mad, I should forget my son, or madly think a babe of clouts were he. I am not mad. Too well I feel the different plague of each calamity.
Hi everybody, my name is Paxton Zeiss. I am in Lynn Inner's Acting 5 class. Shout out to Lynn. I'm gonna be doing Blanche's monologue from Shakespeare's King John for you today. Upon thy wedding day, against the blood that thou hast married. What? Shall our feast be kept with slaughtered men? O husband, hear me. I lack. How new is husband in my mouth. Even for that name, which till this time my tongue did ne'er pronounce. Upon my knee, I beg thee, go not to arms against mine uncle. Which is the side that I shall go withal? I am with both. Each army hath a hand, and in their rage, I having hold of both,
They whirl asunder and dismember me.
If we are marked to die, we are enough to do our country loss. But if to live, well, the fewer men, the greater share of honor. God's will, I pray thee, wish not one man more, but rather proclaim it, Westmoreland, through my host, that he which hath no stomach for this fight, let him depart. His passport shall be made, for we would not die in that man's company that fears his fellowship to die with us. This day is called the Feast of Crispian, and he that outlives this day and comes safe home will stand a tiptoe when the day is named and rouse him at the name of Crispian. He that lives this day and sees old age will yearly on the vigil feast his neighbors and say, tomorrow is St. Crispin's day. And then will he strip his sleeves and show his scars and say, these wounds I had on Crispin's day. Old men forget, yet all shall be forgot. But he'll remember with advantages what feats he did that day. Then shall our names, familiar in their mouths as household words, Harry the King, Bedford and Exeter, Warwick and Talbot, Salisbury and Gloucester, be in their flowing cups freshly remembered. This story shall the good man teach his son, and Crispian shall ne'er go by from this day until the ending of the world. But we in it shall be remembered. We few, we happy few. We band of brothers. For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother, be he ne'er so vile. This day shall gentle his condition. And gentlemen of England now abed would wish themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap, whilst any speaks who fought with us upon St. Crispin's day.
The sermon today was really exciting. Yahweh was mad and did plenty of smiting with locusts and plagues and little green froggies. All that and more thundered down from the sky. I reached for your hand like I always do, but beside me was just an empty wooden pew. There's hymnals and a rosary, but they don't keep me company. The wafers now don't taste so great. They won't transubstantiate without you near. The gospel choir sounds askew. Oh, Jimmy, come back and fill my lonely pew. A gloomy church that you're not in can lead a girl to mortal sin. A lady asked, is this seat taken? I lied, I guess. I told her yes. I pray a holy shining
In the Mind of Someone Living, for Carl Cotton, the first black taxidermist of Chicago. It is possible to imagine death in the mind of someone living, if that mind is living in Bronzeville, circa 1950, and has plumes of formaldehyde blooming in his lungs. In the video, Carl Cotton swoops his scalpel deftly and deliberately into the flushed red of a robin's chest, contemplates its ribs, hollow as a winter day, and coaxes bone from its hardened sheath. This flaying is an act of love, to make vermin into God, to hold death's fragile wingspan in the hearth of your brown palm, and say to the feathers as they try to wither from unfaithful skin, you are meant to live forever. Cotton pulls tufts of white down from a loosened cavity of a shoebill. It is gentle the way he dresses the dead, weaves his fingers between two worlds, the Nile, Chicago, forgotten, afterlife. He pulls their sinews together, one lung, one world still beating organ. O craftsman, there were no other black taxidermists, history says. It is a profession for people white as asbestos and cruelty with a degree to match. But is it not a black profession to make who would otherwise be buried in history stay alive and soaring forever, to softly gut the lacuna of a being only trustful in death, a heart worn from outbeating hunters with the same motivations to mount our bodies as trophies? A brown hand pulls muscle from bone and makes it hurt the last time, bends death till it lets him open its chest and sing. Is it not a black art form to tend the wilted sorghum of this marshland and tell us, come see, this morgue I have made into stage, what exhibit I can make of mourning, what monument I can make of bone, an eagle from a sparrow, and the sparrow just as fine. It is possible to imagine death in the mind of someone living. Even after that mind is buried, it glazes its wings and flies.
Revolution is a joke when I'm with you. 365 days, sometimes 66, mold into one everlasting minute. Sweet, enthralling, but too quick to savor. Your hands tick quietly around my waist. 6:30, the clock strikes 12, every single chime resonating in my core. It is prime time, my love, the mouse runs no more. Your eyes enchanting, your presence time-binding. You are like the hour, moving at your own pace, and I, the minute, chasing you around the face of this world. Let the earth, sun, and moon align. Allow the stars to be envious in the light of our passion. With each moving second, time slows down. Let us make good use of it. As the rays of the morning star stretch our after images, our shadows become one. Lost in time, yours lost in mine. Eternal bliss.
Hi, I'm Phoebe Davidson, and this is Nora from Brighton Beach Memoirs. Can't believe it. So it's all right for you to leave us, but it isn't all right for me to leave you. It was my future. Why couldn't I have something to say about it? I need to be independent. So I have to give up the one chance I may never get again, is that it? I'm the one who's had to pay for what you couldn't do with your own life. I'm not judging you. I can't even talk to you. I don't even exist to you. I've tried so hard to get close to you, but there was never any room. Whatever you had to give went to Daddy. And when he died, what was left you gave to Lori. I've been jealous my whole life of Lori because she was lucky enough to be born sick. I could never have a light on in my room at night or read in bed because Lori was always resting. Could never have a friend over on the weekend because Lori always needed her precious sleep. I used to pray I'd get some terrible disease or get hit by a car so I could have a leg all twisted and crippled, and then maybe, just once, could crawl into bed next to you on a cold, rainy night and talk to you. Till I fell asleep in your arms. Just once. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dana Liu, and I'll be doing a monologue from Gilmore Girls. I'm not going to Harvard. I got the little envelope, the one that reads, "Sorry, Paris, we're not interested. Try again next year. Love, Harvard." And the thing that's really funny here is who in the world deserves to go to Harvard more than me? I mean, have you seen how hard I worked over these past 4 years? Can anyone here believe that I'm not going to Harvard? I can't. I'm not going to Harvard. I'm not going to Harvard. I had sex, but I'm not going to Harvard? If you had asked me which of those two things I thought would be least likely to happen, would not have been the not going to Harvard. I'm being punished. I'm being punished. I had sex, so now I don't get to go to Harvard.
If you knew the algorithm and fed it back, say, 10,000 times, each time there'd be a dot somewhere on the screen. You'd never know where to expect the next dot, but gradually you'd start to see this shape because all of the dots would be inside the shape of this leaf. It wouldn't be a leaf, it would be a mathematical object. But yes, the unpredictable and the predetermined unfold together to make everything the way it is. It's how nature creates itself on every scale. The snowflake and the snowstorm. It makes me so happy to be at the beginning again, knowing almost nothing. People were talking about the end of physics. Relativity and quantum looked as if they were going to clean out the whole problem between them, a theory of everything. But they only explained the very big and the very small. The universe, the elementary particles. The ordinary sized stuff, which is our lives, the things people write poetry about. Clouds, daffodils, waterfalls. And what happens in a cup of coffee when the cream goes in? These things are full of mystery. As mysterious to us as the heavens were to the Greeks.
Yeah, well, it's lousy. It's full of Yale drama crap. He should have stayed in church basements in Soho. But if the audience doesn't understand what's going on, they give him a plaque. Well, I got news for you. Welcome to the movies. If the audience doesn't understand what's going on, they leave. Then they don't tell their friends. and then we lose the European market, and there's no ancillary sales, and there's no sequel. And if you think I'm some kind of mercantile, anti-artist, studio puppet who only sees dollars and cents, you're right. But that's my job. All I had to say is this: if you expect to be handed $17 million to make a movie and another $10 million to promote it, you better be pretty damn sure that someone in Des Moines is gonna buy a ticket.
Hi, my name is Disco Fly. I'm from Donna Snow's Acting 2 class. I'll be performing as Ty from Sorted Lives. When I was a kid, I was fat. A fat boy. Waddle butt. That's what the other kids used to call me. I wish they could see my ass today. I've been working really hard on my ass. Anyway, one year, I think I was in 5th grade. My mom took me clothes shopping, and I had gotten fatter, but I had to try on jeans. And the only ones that would fit were the husky ones. And it had this label on the back that said husky. And announce to everybody behind you that you are husky. And I started crying because I didn't want the other kids to know I was a husky. So my mom sat me down over there in the store. She hugged me and told me that no one ever had to know. Just me and her. Our little secret. And she bought me those jeans, took them home, and we went to the Goodwill and bought some used jeans. And she took the labels off the husky ones and she sewed on slim label from the Goodwill ones. Slim. Shit. Like I could pull that off. But that's kind of mama she was. She never made me feel bad about being fat. She always made it okay. And I always thought that's kind of unconditional love. And maybe if I told her I was gay, it would, it would apply. But there's another thought that keeps running through my head, that should try and change the labels. I mean, instead of from husky to slim, from gay to straight, so no one would know. I mean, I've been trying to do that for years. Thank you.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them. To die. To sleep. No more. And by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die. To sleep. To sleep. Perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life, for who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the presser's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of disprized love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear? To grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the threat of something after death. The undiscovered country, from whose bourne no traveler returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have and fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pitch and moment with disregard their currents turn awry and lose the name of action. Soft, you know? The fair Ophelia. Nymph! In thy orisons be all my sins remembered.
Good my lord, how does your honor for this many a day?
I humbly thank you. Well.
My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed and longed to redeliver. I pray you now receive them.
No, not I. I never gave you aught.
My honored lord, you know right well you did. And with them words of so sweet breath composed as made the things more rich, their perfume lost. Take these again, for to the noble mind rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord.
Are you honest?
My lord.
Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
That if you be honest and fair, then your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty?
Aye, truly. For the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what it is to a bawd than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. This was sometime a paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so.
You should not have believed me, for we cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent, honest, and yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do, crawling between earth and heaven? We are errant knaves, all. Believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where's your father?
At home, my lord.
Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house. Farewell.
Oh, open your sweet heavens.
If thou dost marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow. Thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery. Go, or if thou wilt needs marry, marry a fool. For wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery. Go, and quickly too. Farewell.
Oh, heavenly powers, restore him.
I have heard of your paintings too, well enough. God hath given you one face, and you make yourselves another. You jig, you amble, and you lisp. You name God's creatures, and make your wantonness your ignorance. Go to. I'll no more on't. It hath made me mad. I say we will have no more marriages. Those that are married already, all but one shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery. Go.
Oh, what a noble mind is here overthrown. The courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword. The expectancy and rose of the fair state. The glass of fashion and the mold of form. Observed of all observers. Quite down. And I of ladies most deject and wretched, that sucked the honey of his musicked vows, now see that noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells jangled out of tune and harsh. That unmatched form and feature of blown youth blasted with ecstasy. Woe is me, to have seen what I have seen. See what I see.
Oh, all you hosts of heaven! Oh, earth! What else? Shall I couple hell? Oh, fie. Hold my heart, and you, my sinews, grow not instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee. Aye, thou poor ghost, whilst memory holds a seat in this distracted globe. Remember thee. Yea, from the table of my memory, I'll wipe away all trivial fond records. All saws of books, all forms, all pressures past, and thy commandment all alone shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, by heaven. O most pernicious woman. O villain, smiling damned villain. My table's meat it is, I set it down, that one may smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word. It is adieu. Adieu, remember me. I have sworn.
Farewell! God knows when we shall meet again. I have a faint cold fear thrills through my veins that almost freezes up the heat of life. I'll call them back again to comfort me. Nurse! What should she do here? My dismal scene I needs must act alone. Come, vial. What if this mixture do not work at all? Shall I then be married tomorrow morning? No, no, this shall forbid it. Lie thou there. What if it be a poison which the friar subtly hath ministered to have me dead? Lest in this marriage he should be dishonored because he married me before to Romeo. I fear it is. And yet methinks it should not, for he hath still been tried a holy man. How if, when I am laid into the tomb, I wake before the time that Romeo come to redeem me? There's a fearful point. Shall I not then be stifled in a vault, to whose foul mouth no wholesome air breathes in, and there die strangled ere my Romeo comes? Or if I live, is it not very like the horrible conceit of death and night, together with the terror of the place, as in a vault, an ancient receptacle, wherefore these many hundred years the bones of all my buried ancestors are packed, where bloody Tybalt, yet but green in earth, lies festering in his shroud, whereas they say it's some hour of the night spirits resort. Alack, alack, it is not like that I so early waking with what loathsome smells and shrieks like mandrakes thrown out of the earth, that living mortals hearing them run mad. Oh, if I wake, will I not be distraught, environed with all these hideous fears, and madly play with my forefathers' joints, and pluck the mangled Tybalt from his shroud? And in this rage, with some great kingsman's own ass, with a club, dash out my desperate brains! Oh, look. Methinks I see my cousin's ghost, seeking out Romeo that did spit his body upon a rapier's point. Stay, Tybalt, stay! Romeo, I come. This do I drink to thee.
'Tis torture and not mercy. Heaven is here, where Juliet lives. And every cat and dog and little mouse, every unworthy thing, live here in heaven and may look on her. But Romeo may not. More validity, more honorable state, more courtship lives in carrion flies than Romeo. They may seize on the white wonder of dear Juliet's hand and steal immortal blessing from her lips, who even in pure and vestal modesty still blush as thinking their own kisses sin. But Romeo may not. He is banished. Flies may do this, but I from this must fly. They are free men, but I am banished. And say'st thou yet that exile is not death? Hadst thou no poison mixed, no sharp ground knife, no means of death, but ne'er so mean as banish it to kill me? Banish it. O friar, the damned use that word in hell. A howling attends it. How hast thou the heart, being a divine, a ghostly confessor, a sin absolver, and my friend professed, to mangle me with that word? Banish it.
What steady torments tyrant has for me? What? Wheels? Racks? Fires? What? Flaying? Boiling? In leads or oils? What old or newer torture must I receive, whose every word deserves a taste of thy most worst? Thy tyranny together, working with thy jealousies, fancies too weak for boys, too green and idle for girls of 9. Oh, think what they have done, and run mad, indeed, stark mad. For all thy bygone fooleries were but spices of it. That thou betrayest Polixenes 'twas nothing, and that did but show thee of a fool, inconstant, and damnable ingrateful. Nor was much, thou wouldst have poisoned good Camilla's honor to have him kill a king. Poor trespasses, more monstrous standing by. Whereof I reckon the casting forth to crows thy baby daughter, to be or none or little, though a devil would have shed water at a fire ere done. Nor is directly laid to thee the death of the young prince, whose honorable thoughts so high for one so tender, cleft the heart that could conceive a gross and foolish sire, blemished his gracious dam. But the last, O lords, when I have said, cry woe, the queen, the sweetest, dearest creature's dead, and vengeance for it not jobbed down yet. I say she's dead, I'll swear it. Prevail not, go and see if you can bring tincture or luster in her lip, her eye, heat outwardly or breath within. I'll serve you as I would do the gods, but, oh, thou tyrant, do not repent these things, for they are heavier than all thy woes can stir. Therefore betake thee to nothing but despair. 1,000 knees, 10,000 years together, naked, fasting upon a barren mountain, and still winter and storm perpetual could not move the gods to look that way thou wert. Thank you.
It gets dark so early now. Cooking always makes me feel better. I found some purple Scylla for the table, and I made a small cake. I found a bottle of wine. Know what? We'll have a good dinner. Where's Joe?
Gone.
A patient? Will he be back in time for dinner?
No.
Well, we'll wait dinner for him then. Karen, what's the matter?
He won't be back.
He won't be back anymore tonight?
He won't be back at all.
What happened? What happened, Karen?
He thought that we had been lovers.
I don't believe it. I don't believe you. What kind of awful talk is that? I don't believe you. I don't believe it.
All right, all right.
Didn't you tell him? For God's sake, didn't you tell him it wasn't true?
Yes.
He didn't believe you?
I guess he believed me.
I don't understand what you've done. You guess he believed you? There's no guessing about it. Why didn't you?
I don't want to ever talk about it, Martha.
God, I wanted that for you so much.
Don't carry on. I don't feel well.
What's happened to us? What really happened to us?
I don't know. I think I'll make a cup of tea and go to bed now.
Whatever happened, go back to Joe. It's too much for you this way.
Stop talking about it, please. Let's get out of here. Let's pack our bags and take a train in the morning.
A train to where?
I don't know, someplace, any place.
A job, money.
In a big place, we could find something to do.
They know about us. We've been in the headlines. We're very famous.
A small town, then.
They know more about us, I guess.
We'll find somewhere to go.
I don't think we will. Not really. I feel as if I couldn't move, and what would be the use? It seems to me I'll be sitting the rest of my life wondering what happened. It's a bad night tonight. But we might as well get used to it. They'll all be like this.
But it's not a new sin they tell us we've done. Other people aren't destroyed by it.
They're the people who believe in it, who want it, who've chosen it for themselves. That must be very different. We aren't like that. We don't love each other. We don't love each other. We've been close to each other, of course. I've loved you like a friend, the way thousands feel about other women.
I'm cold.
You were a dear friend who was loved. That's all. Certainly there's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly natural that I should be fond of you. Why? We've known each other since we were 17. And I always thought...
Why are you saying all of this?
Because I love you.
Yes, of course. I love you too.
But maybe I love you that way. The way they said I loved you. I don't know. Listen to me.
What?
I have loved you the way they said.
Martha, please don't. We're both so tired.
There's always been something wrong. Always, as long as I can remember. But I never knew it until all this happened.
Stop that crazy talk.
You're afraid of hearing it. I'm more afraid than you.
I won't listen to you.
You've got to know it. I can't keep it to myself any longer. I've got to tell you, I'm guilty.
You are guilty of nothing.
I've been telling myself that since the night we heard the child say it. I lie in bed night after night, praying that it isn't true, but it's there. I did love you. I do love you. I resented your marriage, maybe because I wanted you. Maybe I wanted you all these years. I couldn't call it by a name, but maybe it's been there ever since I first knew you.
It's not the truth. Not a word of it. We never thought of each other this way.
No, of course you didn't, but who says I didn't? I never felt that way about anybody but you. I never loved a man. I never knew why before. Maybe it's that.
You are tired and sick.
It's funny. It's all mixed up. There's something in you and you don't do anything about it because you don't know it's there. Suddenly, a little girl gets bored and tells a lie, and then there that night, you see it for the first time. You ask yourself, did she see it? Did she sense it?
Why are you saying all of this? You know it could have been any lie. She was looking for anything.
Yes, but why this one? She found the lie with the ounce of truth. I guess they always do. I've ruined your life, and I've ruined my own. I swear I didn't know it. I swear I didn't mean it. God, I feel so goddamn sick and dirty. I can't stand it anymore.
All of this isn't true. You don't have to remember any of it was ever said. Tomorrow we'll pick ourselves up and...
I don't want tomorrow. It's a bad word.
Martha, go and lie down. I'll make you some tea and in a few minutes I'll bring it to you. You'll feel better.
Don't bring me any tea. Thank you. Good night, Tyler.
I'm Rachel Politic, and this is Becca's monologue from Rabbit Hole by David Lindsay Abaire. Do you really not know me, Howie? Do you really not know how utterly impossible that would be? To erase him. No matter how many art projects I box up or how many things I give away to charity, do you really think that I don't see him every second of every day? And okay, maybe I'm trying to make things a little easier on myself by hiding some of the photographs and giving away the clothes, but that does not mean I am trying to erase him. That tape was an accident, and believe me, I will beat myself up about it forever, I'm sure, just like everything else I could have prevented but didn't. Because it feels like I don't feel bad enough for you. Like I'm not mourning enough for your taste. Or not mourning in the right way. But let me just say, Howie, that I am mourning just as much as you are. And my grief is just as real and awful as yours is. You are not in a better place than me. You're just in a different place, and that sucks. That we can't be there for each other right now, but that's just the way it is. This is the way it is.
Hi, my name is Zachary Moore, and I will be performing Ken's monologue from the play, Red. Bores you. Bores you? Christ almighty, try working for you for a living. The talking Jesus Christ won't he ever shut up Titanic self-absorption of the man. You stand there trying to look so deep when you're nothing but a solipsistic bully with your grandiose self-importance and lectures and arias, and let's look at the fucking canvas for another few weeks. Let's not fucking paint. Let's just look. And the pretension. Jesus Christ, the pretension. I can't imagine any other painter in the history of art ever tried so hard to be significant. Not every painting has to rip out your guts and expose your soul. Not everyone wants art that actually hurts. Sometimes you want a fucking still life, or landscape, or soup can, or comic book, which you might learn if you ever actually left your goddamn hermetically sealed submarine here with all the windows closed and no natural light. Because natural light isn't even good enough for you. But then nothing is ever good enough for you. Not even the people who buy your pictures. So who is good enough to own your art? Anyone? You say you spend your life in search of real human beings. People who can look at your pictures with compassion. But in your heart you no longer believe those people exist. So you lose faith. So you lose hope. So black swallows red. My friend, I don't think you'd recognize a real human being if he were standing right in front of you. Thank you.
You can't know. You wouldn't be here. Dad came to work that day. The night foreman came up to him and he showed him the cylinder heads. They were coming out of the process with defects. There was something wrong with the process. So Dad went directly to the phone and he called here and he told Joe that he needed him to come down right away. But the morning passed. No sign of Joe. So Dad called again, and by this time, he had over 100 defectives. The army was screaming at him for stuff, and Dad had nothing to ship. So Joe told him on the phone, he said, weld, cover up the cracks in any way you can, and ship them out. I'm not through now. Dad was afraid. He wanted Joe there if he was going to do it. But Joe can't come down. He's sick. Sick. He suddenly gets the flu. Suddenly. But he promised to take responsibility. Do you understand what I'm telling you? On the phone, you can't have responsibility. In a court, you can always deny a phone call, and that's exactly what he did. They knew he was alive from the first time, but in the appeal, they believed that rotten lie, and now Joe is the big shot, and your father is the patsy. So what are you going to do? Eat his food? Sleep in his bed? Answer me! What are you going to do?
So I went to this movie last week. It was pretty good, but it wasn't. Not that any of them really are anymore. And it's not that I'm bitter. People look at you and they say, oh, he's an actor who's not like, so he must be bitter. And I am bitter, but that doesn't mean the movies don't suck. Because they do, right? They're largely unwatchable, except for maybe the 3 films that come out every year that don't finally do much more than make the rest of us feel like complete failures because we can't get into the utter bullshit that everybody else makes. Not that I consider myself a failure. I'm happy with where I am. I really am. So anyway, I saw this movie last week, and it was pretty typical, guns and explosions and airplanes and people screaming and the plane crashes. Ah, get down, and like the whole movie was like that. And, I hear people get paid millions, just like millions, to write get in the truck. You know, and they're considered like successful, really successful screenwriters for writing get down. No, I'm not bitter.
Recently, a friend of mine, a brave and Christian woman, collapsed in terrible pain. One minute she seemed fit and well, the next minute she was in agony. She is now suffering from advanced bone cancer and almost dying. Why? I find it hard to believe that God loves her. If you love someone, you don't want them to suffer. You can't bear it. You want to take their suffering onto yourself. If even I feel like that, why doesn't God? Not just once in history on the cross, but again and again. Today. Now. It's at times like this that we need to remind ourselves of the very core of the Christian faith. There are other worlds than this. This world that it seems so real is nothing more than a shadow of the life to come. If we can believe there is nothing greater than this life, if we can believe there is nothing greater than this current life, then we are under a dangerous illusion. All is not well. Believe me, all is not well. Suffering. By suffering, through suffering, we release our holds on the toys of this world and know that our true good, it lies in another world. But after we have suffered so much, must we still suffer more and more? We are like blocks of stone, out of which the sculptor carves the forms of men. The blow of his chisel, which hurts so much, are what makes us perfect.
Lady Beatrice, have you wept all this while?
Yea, and I will weep a while longer.
I will not desire that.
You have no reason. I do it freely.
Surely I do believe your fair cousin is wronged.
How much might the man deserve of me that would right her?
Is there a way to show such friendship?
A very even way, but no such friend.
May a man do it.
It is a man's office, but not yours.
I do love nothing in the world so well as you. Is not that strange?
As strange as the thing I know not. It were possible for me to say I love nothing so well as you, but believe me not, and yet I lie not. I confess nothing, nor I deny nothing. I am sorry for my cousin.
By my sword, Beatrice, thou lovest me.
Do not swear and eat it.
I will swear by it that you love me, and I will make him eat it that says I love not you.
Will you not eat your word?
With no sauce that can be devised to it. I protest I love thee.
Why then, God forgive me.
What offense, sweet Beatrice?
You have stayed me in a happy hour. I was about to protest I loved you.
And do so with all thy heart.
I love you with so much of my heart that none is left to protest.
Come, bid me do anything for thee.
Kill Claudio.
Not for the wide world.
You kill me to deny it. Farewell.
Tarry, sweet Beatrice.
I'm gone. Though I am here, there is no love in you. Nay, I pray you let me go.
Beatrice.
Faith, I will go.
We'll be friends first.
You dare easier be friends with me than fight with mine enemy.
Is Claudio thine enemy?
Is he not approved in the height a villain that had slandered, scorned, dishonored my kinswoman? What? Bear her in hand until they come to take hands, and then with public accusation, uncovered slander, unmitigated rancor, oh God, that I were a man, I would eat his heart in the marketplace.
Hear me, Beatrice.
And out of a window. A proper saying.
Nay, but Beatrice.
No, she is wronged. She is slandered. She is undone. In counties, surely a princely testimony, a goodly Count Comfort, a sweet gallant surely. Oh, that I were man for his sake, or that I had any friend that would be a man for my sake. But manhood is melted into curtsies, valor into compliments, and men are only turned into tongue, and trim ones too. He is now as valiant as Hercules that only tells a lie and swears it. I cannot be a man with wishing, therefore I will die a woman grieving.
Tarry, sweet Beatrice. By this hand I love thee.
Use it for my love some other way than swearing by it.
Think you in your soul Count Claudio hath wronged Hero?
Yea, as sure as I have a thought or a soul.
Enough, I am engaged. I will challenge him. I will kiss your hand, and so leave you. By this hand, Claudio shall render me a dear account. As you hear of me, so think of me. Go comfort your cousin. I must say she is dead. And so, farewell.
Aye, Antipholus, look strange and frown. Some other mistress hath thy sweet aspects? I am not Adriana, nor thy wife. The time was once when thou unurged wouldst vow that never words were music to thine ear, never object pleasing in thine eye, that never touch, well welcome to thy hand, that never meat sweet savoured in thy taste, unless I spake or looked or touched or carved to thee. How comes it now, my husband? How comes it that thou art thus estranged from thyself? Thyself I call it, being strange to me, that undividable, incorporate, and better than thy dear self's better part. Do not tear thyself away from me. For know, my love, as easy mayst thou fall a drop of water in the breaking gulf, and take unmingled thence that drop again, without addition or diminishing, as take from me thyself, and not me too. How dearly would it touch thee to the quick if thou shouldst but hear that I were licentious, and that this body, consecrate to thee by ruffian lust, should be contaminate. Wouldst thou not spit at me, and spurn at me, and hurl the name of husband in my face, and tear the stained skin from my harlot brow, and from my false hands cut the wedding ring, and break it with a deep divorcing vow? I know thou canst, and therefore see thou do it. I am possessed with an adulterate blot. My blood is mingled with the crime of lust. For if we two be one, and thou play false, I do digest the poison of thy flesh, being strumpeted by thy contagion. Keep then fair league and truce with thy true bed. I live unstained, thou undishonoured.
I do much wonder how one man, seeing how another man is a fool when he dedicates his behaviors to love, will, after he have laughed at such shallow follies in others, become the argument of his own scorn by falling in love. And such a man is
Claudio! I have known when there was no music with him but the drum and the fife, and now, had he rather hear the tabor and the pipe? I've known when he would have walked 10 mile afoot to see a good armor, and now will he lie 10 nights awake, carving the fashion of a new doublet. He was wont to speak plain and to the purpose like an honest man and a soldier, and now has he turned orthography? His words are a very fantastical banquet, just so many strange dishes. May I be so converted and see with these eyes? I cannot tell. I think not. I will not be sworn, but love may transform me to an oyster, but I'll take my oath on it. Till he have made an oyster of me, he shall never make me such a fool. One woman is fair, yet I am well. Another wise, yet I am well. Another virtuous, yet I am well. But till all graces be in one woman shall not come in my grace. Rich she shall be, that's certain. Wise, or I'll none. Fair, or I'll never look on her. Virtuous, or I'll never cheapen her. Mild, or come not near me. Noble, or not I for an angel. Of good discourse, an excellent musician, and her hair shall be whatever color it please God. The Prince and Monsieur Love. I'll hide me in the arbor. Thank you.
Oh, spite, oh hell! I see you all are bent to set against me for your merriment. If you were civil and knew courtesy would not do me thus much injury. Can you not hate me, as I know you do, but you must join in souls to mock me too? Lo, she is one of this confederacy. Now I perceive they have conjoined all three to fashion this false sport in spite of me. Injurious Hermia, most ungrateful maid, have you conspired? Have you with these contrived to bait me with this foul derision? Is all the counsel we two have shared, the sisters' vows, the hours that we have spent, when we have chid the hasty-footed time for parting us, oh, is it all forgot? All school days, friendships, childhood, innocence? We, Hermia, like two artificial gods, have with our needles created both one flower, both on one sampler, sitting on one cushion, both warbling of one song, both in one key, as if our hands, our sides, voices, and minds had been incorporate. So we grew together, like to a double cherry, seeming parted, but yet in union and partition. Two lovely berries molded on one stem. So if two seeming bodies, but one heart. Two of the first, like coats in heraldry, do but to one, and crowned with one crest. And will you rent our ancient love asunder? To join with men in scorning your poor friend? It is not friendly, 'tis not maidenly. Our sex, as well as I, may chide you for it, though I alone do feel the injury.
Oh, hateful hands to tear such loving words! Injurious wasps to feed on such sweet honey, and then kill the bees that yielded with their stings. I'll kiss each several paper for amends. Look, here is writ. Kind Julia, kind Julia. As in revenge for thy ingratitude, I throw thy name against the bruising stones, trampling contemptuously on thy disdain. And here is writ, love-wounded Proteus, poor wounded name, my bosom as a bed shall lodge thee till thy would be thoroughly healed, and thus I search it with a sovereign kiss. But twice or thrice was Proteus written down. Be calm, good wind. Blow not a word away till I found each letter in the letter, except mine own name, that some whirlwind bear into a fearful, ragged, hanging rock, and throw it thence into the raging sea. Lo, here in one line is his name twice writ. Poor forlorn Proteus, passionate Proteus, to the sweet Julia. That I'll tear away. And yet I will not sit so prettily. He couples it to his complaining names. Thus I will fold them one upon another. Now kiss, embrace, contend. Do what you will.
Hi, I'm Cecilia Jaskell. I'm a junior in the acting concentration, and today I will be singing Journey to the Past from Anastasia. Thank you. Heart, don't fail me now. Courage, don't desert me. Don't turn back now that we're here. People always say life is full of choices. No one ever mentions fear or how the world can seem so vast on a journey to the past. Somewhere down this road, I know someone's waiting. Years of dreams just can't be wrong. Arms will open wide, I'll be safe and wanted finally home where I belong. Well, starting now, I'm learning fast on this journey to the love, family. There was once a time I must have had them too. Home, love, family. I will never be complete until I find you. One step at a time, one hope then another. Who knows where this road may go? Back to who I was, on to find my future. Things my heart still needs to know. Yes, let this be a sign. Let this road be mine. Let it be
Whenever I faced the sea, I had never been afraid. I had never found anything unholy in the churn of Sargasso, no matter how much it sharpened its teeth. But Mama, when your body stopped being yours, I saw a world where eyes glazed with ocean, while cancer saw insides as vulnerable prey as it vultured over you. The only grandma that I ever knew. I felt helpless, seeing body turn frail while succumbing to its own malice, seeing tears swell into oceans but refusing to fall, seeing sickness conjure death in you. When I saw that ocean in you, gloom lured me to kneel in pool of myself, buried chin in chest and begged me to find tears. I didn't turn face to heaven, in fear that I might see you there sooner than I wanted to. I was scared of navigating the uncharted waters of loss before limbs were strong enough to swim. I'll never forget seeing you there. There was something that had been carved out of you, like the spark was looted from irises, like you were prescribed demons to steal the glimmer from you, like what was left of body no longer belonged to you. When you couldn't tell who I was anymore, I knew it. You were gone. The holy had been drained from you. The unfallen tears had sunk you, and there was no way to bail out the water. Sickness cleaved your woman from you, but never changed how I still love you and carry you to this day. I love you.
Hi, my name is Claudia, and today I'm doing Trudy's monologue from Jane Wagner's Search for Signs of Intelligent Life in the Universe. Now, since I've put reality on the back burner, my days are jam-packed and fun-filled. Like, some days I'll go hang out around 7th Avenue. I love to play this old joke. I'll wait for one of those music-loving tourists from some hotel on Central Park to go up and ask someone, "How do I get to Carnegie Hall?" And then I run up and yell, "Practice!" The looks on these people's faces, priceless. I never could have done this stuff when I was in my right mind. I'd be worried people would think I was crazy. God, when I think about all the fun I missed, I try not to be bitter. See, the human mind is like a piñata. When you break it open, there are a lot of surprises inside. Once you get into that piñata perspective, you see that losing your mind can be a peak experience. I wasn't always a bag lady, you know? I was a creative consultant for big companies. Who do you think thought up the color scheme for Howard Johnson's? At the time, no one was using orange and aqua in the same room together with fried clams. The only invention I'm proud of? My umbrella hat. Keeps me safe from rain, sunstroke, muggers. For some reason, muggers tend to steer clear of people wearing umbrella hats. Ever since I started having shock treatments, I started experiencing these time-space continuum shifts. All of a sudden, it was like my central nervous system got a patio edition out back. Not only do I have a link up to extraterrestrial life, but I have a hookup with humanity as a whole. Animals and plants, too. I mean, I've always talked to plants, but one day they started talking back and they said, "Hey, Trudy, shut up! Thank you.
Hi there. I am Ziggy Sarah Mackenzie. I took David Ingram's Acting 2 this semester, and this is a monologue I did for class from the play Scuba Lessons by Joseph Sokola. Let's give it a go. Did you ever wake up and just know that it's going to be your day? I did. Today. First time. I woke up 5 minutes before my alarm clock went off. The sun was shining, birds were chirping, I felt warm all over, and then I read my horoscope. Today is your day. What you want becomes real. Romance figures prominently. Musical notes involved. Okay, I don't get the musical notes thing either, but that's not the point. The point is, today is my day. And it has been. All day. I got on the scale. I was 5 pounds thinner. And that was after getting out of the shower. On my way out the door, my manager stopped me and said that he was going to fix the broken closet door in my apartment that I reported 6 months ago. Normally, I wouldn't believe him because I have rotten luck, but I've just had this feeling all day. And that's leaving out the best part of my horoscope. Romance figures prominently. He's not here yet. Martin, my date. It's a blind date, actually, which normally would scare me. To tell the truth, I was terrified. Until this morning. I know. What are the chances of finding Mr. Right on a blind date? Anyone that believes that is at best an optimist and at worst... We're not going to go there. I'm an optimist. I have faith. You know, I actually have worse luck with men. Up until recently, I was convinced that I had bad guy karma, which is why I told Dan to meet his date here tonight, too. I had a friend at work set us both up. We said we'd both meet our dates here tonight just in case they were ugly. But if I'd known my day was going to go like this, I would have told him to just fend for himself. Do you see what I mean? This is my favorite painting, on a mug. I was in here 2 days ago and they did not have this mug. It's like some giant cosmic accident. It's fate. Did I tell you it took me less than 5 minutes to find a parking space today? My favorite painting. The Scream. Dan said only freaks like this painting, and I told him only tactless jerks call their friends freaks. Looks like the jerk is doing okay, though. He hasn't pissed her off yet. She looks okay. She's a little thin for Dan, though. He's Italian. He likes those bosom women. Or at least he does, and he thinks he speaks for every guinea on the planet. He hates it when I call him Guinea. Guinea. That's Dan. He likes me. But we're not. No. I mean, he's sweet. We always do stuff like this together. Not like this. I mean, we do things. We go to the movies, or we go for walks in parks or mountains. Sometimes we hold hands. Sometimes we come here and drink coffee. Well, he drinks coffee. I don't like coffee. Or tea. Actually, I hate tea, but it just wouldn't work. We bicker constantly. Dan calls me the ex-wife he never wanted. I call him proof for the need of artificial insemination. It's not that bad. He's just that bad for me. Dan just needs to find a woman that isn't constantly annoyed by him. And who isn't finding her soulmate tonight? Thanks.
You got a lot of fucking nerve! I'll tell you what I know. I watched you trip over your own dusty feet to heal the sick, the blind, the lame, the unclean. Any two-bit stranger stubbed their fucking toe. When some lowly, distant relative, too cheap to buy their own fucking wine for their own fucking wedding, suddenly runs out of booze, no problem. You just presto changeo. And it was fucking Miller time and old Cannon again, wasn't it, bro? But when I fucking needed you, where the fuck were you, huh? You forgave Peter? And bullshit Thomas? You knocked Paul of Tarsus off a horse. You raised Lazarus from the fucking dead, but me, your heart? What about me? What about me, Jesus, huh? You just... I made a mistake. And if that was wrong, you should have told me. And if a broken heart wasn't sufficient reason to hang, then you should have told me that too. All I know is that you broke me. Unfixable. And that I'm here. And do you want to know when you delivered your message differently? At the temple, Jesus, that's when. And you were beautiful there. You left there 3 inches taller, we all saw it. I loved you. That's all I did. And that's the truth. And now, I'm here.
You see, when the DA's office investigated the sudden death of Artie Clay, you know that they found that he left a $13 million estate? How are you supposed to explain that? And then there's Larry Wong, who owned half of Chinatown when he passed away. Did you know that Larry used to rent his tenements out to Asian refugees, his own people, for $800 a month to share a single toilet on the same floor? Oh, what about King Tito? Yeah, he had 13-year-old girls looking for him on the street. You see, those guys are dead because I don't want to make money that way. Okay, Amelia Zappa, the Ramada brothers. Those guys are dead because they were running the city into the ground. And it burns you so badly to watch me get away with what? With what, murder? Who says I want to get away with murder? I spent half my life in prison. I never got away with anything, and I never killed anyone that didn't deserve it. Now, for the likes of Artie Clay and the rest of those bums, what, you're going to slap a price tag on me for $50,000? You're going to make me public enemy number 1? Is that some kind of a joke? Well, listen, I got a message for you and your friends, all right? You tell them I got a $250,000 contract on anyone involved in this case. That's right. Now, you see, we all know what it's like to live when, you don't know, when some asshole's just going to pop out of the dark and blow your head off. I want you to know what it's like to live that way. All right? So you're going to tell them what I said. And hey, drop that fucking phone. We're not talking about me, okay? You think ambushing me in some nightclub is gonna stop what makes people take drugs? Come on. This country spends $100 fucking billion a year getting high, and it ain't because of me. You know, all that time I was rotting away in prison, it only got worse. So I'm not your problem here. I'm a businessman. Okay? I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. You're going to take those cuffs off your belt, Mr. Officer, and cuff yourself to the chair. Yeah. And don't try anything funny. Alright? I'm going to blow your nose off and play with it. That's good. Yeah, that's real good. You see, now I'm going to go. Welcome to the circle.
Where were you?
Out.
Where?
Just out. Thinking.
It's late.
I had a lot to think about.
I burned dinner.
Sorry.
Not my dinner. My dinner was fine. Your dinner. I put it back in the oven and turned everything up as high as it could go and watched till it burned black. It's still hot. Very hot. Want it?
You didn't have to do that.
I know. It just seemed like the kind of thing a mentally deranged, sex-starved, pill-popping housewife would do.
Uh-huh.
So, I did it. Who knows any more what I have to do?
How many pills?
A bunch. Don't change the subject.
I won't talk to you when you...
No, don't do that. I'm fine. Pills are not the problem, not our problem. I want to know where you've been. I want to know what's going on.
Going on with what? The job?
Not the job.
I said I need more time.
Not the job.
The phone. I talked to him on the phone. He said I had to hurry.
Not the...
I can't get you to talk sensibly about anything, so...
Shut up.
Then what?
Stick to the subject.
I don't know what that is. You have something you want to ask me? Ask me. Go.
I can't. I'm scared of you.
I'm tired. I'm going to bed.
Tell me without making me ask, please.
This is crazy. I'm not.
When you come through the door at night, your face is never exactly the way I remembered it. I get surprised by something. Mean and hard about the way you look. Even the weight of you in the bed, the way you breathe in your sleep, it's so unfamiliar. You terrify me.
I know who you are.
Yes, I'm the enemy. That's easy. That doesn't change. You think you're the only one who hates sex? I do. I hate it with you. I do. I dream that you batter away at me till all my joints come apart like wax and I fall into pieces. I knew it was wrong of me to marry you. It's a sin, and it's killing us both.
I can always tell when you've taken pills because it makes you red-faced and sweaty. And frankly, that's often why I don't want to.
Because?
Well, you're not pretty. Not like this.
I have something to ask you.
Then ask. Ask. What in the hell are you?
Are you a homo? Are you? If you try to walk out that door right now, I'll put your dinner back in the oven and turn everything up so high the whole building will fill with smoke and everyone in it will asphyxiate, so help me God, I will. Now answer the question.
What if I...
Then tell me, please, and we'll see.
No. I'm not. I don't see what difference it makes. I think we ought to pray. Ask God for help. Ask him together.
God won't talk to me. I have to make up people to talk to me.
I have to keep asking.
I forgot the question. Oh, right. God is my husband.
Stop it! I'm warning you. Does it make any difference that it could be something deep within, no matter how wrong or ugly that thing is, so long as I fought with everything I have to kill it? What do you want from me? What do you want from me, Harper, more than that? For God's sake, there's nothing left. I'm a shell. There's nothing left to kill. As long as I know what my behavior has to be. Decent. Correct. That alone in the eyes of God.
No, don't do that. That's Utah talk, Mormon talk. I hate it, Joe. Just tell me. Say it.
All I will say is that I'm a very good man that's worked very hard to become good, and you want to destroy that. You want to destroy me, but I'm not going to let you do that.
I'm going to have a baby.
Liar.
You liar. A baby born addicted to pills. A baby who does not dream but who hallucinates, who stares up at us with big mirror eyes and who does not know who we are.
Are you really?
No. Yes. No. Yes. Get away from me. Now we both have a secret.
Hi, my name is Licia Mockford, and this is Juliet from Romeo and Juliet. Shall I speak ill of him that is my husband? Poor my lord, what tongue shall smooth thy name when I thy 3 hours wife, have mangled it? But wherefore, villain, didst thou kill my cousin? That villain cousin would have killed my husband. Back, foolish tears. Back to your native spring, your tributary drops belong to woe, which you mistaking offer up to joy. My husband lives, that Tybalt would have slain, and Tybalt's dead, that would have slain my husband. All this is comfort. Wherefore weep I then? Some word there was, worser than Tybalt's death that murdered me. I would forget it fain, but oh, it presses to my memory like damned guilty deeds to sinners' minds. Tybalt is dead. And Romeo, banish it. That one word, banish it, has slain 10,000 Tybalts. Tybalt's death was woe enough if it had ended there, or if sour woe delights in fellowship and needly will be ranked with other griefs. Why followed not when she said Tybalt's dead, thy father or thy mother, nay, or both? What modern lamentation might have moved? But with rearward following Tybalt's death, Romeo is banished. To speak that word is father, mother, Tybalt, Romeo, Juliet, all slain, all dead. Romeo is banished. There is no end, no limit, no measure, no bound in that word's death. No words can that woe sound.
Certainly my conscience will serve me to run from the Jew my master. The fiend is at mine elbow and tempts me, saying to me, Gobbo, Lancelot, Gobbo, good Lancelot, or good Gobbo, or good Lancelot, Gobbo. Use your legs, take the start, run away. While my conscience says to me, no, take heed, honest Lancelot, take heed, honest Gobbo, or as for said, honest Lancelot, Gobbo, do not run, scorn running with thy heels. Well, the most courageous fiend bids me pack. Fia, says the fiend. Away, says the fiend. For the heavens, rouse up a brave mind and run. Well, my conscience, hanging about the neck of my heart, says very wisely to me, Lancelot, being an honest man's son, or rather an honest woman's son, for indeed, my father did something smack, something grow to. He had a kind of taste. Well, my conscience says to me, Lancelot, budge not! Budge, says the fiend. Budge not, says my conscience. Conscience, say I, you counsel well. Fiend, say I, you counsel well. To be ruled by my conscience, I should stay with the Jew, my master, who, God bless the mark, is a kind of devil. And to run away from the Jew, I should be ruled by the fiend, who, saving your reverence, is a kind of devil incarnation. Certainly the Jew is the devil himself. And in my conscience is but a hard conscience to counsel me to stay with the Jew. The fiend offers the more friendly counsel. I will run, fiend. My heels are at your commandment. I will run.
Lo, she is one of this confederacy. Now I perceive to have conjoined all three of the fashion this false sport in spite of me. Injurious Hermia, most ungrateful maid, have you conspired, have you of these contrived to bait me with this foul derision? Is all the counsel that we two have shared, the sisters' vows, the hours that we have spent when we have chid the hasty footed time for parting us? Oh, is it all forgot? A school like friendship, childhood innocence? We, Hermia, like two artificial gods have with our needles created, both one flower, both on one sampler sitting on one cushion, both warmling one song, both in one key, as if our hands, our sides, voices, and minds had been incorporate. So we grew together, two like a double cherry seeming parted, but yet in union and partition. Two lovely berries molded onto one stem, so with two seeming bodies but one heart. Two of the first like hopes and heraldry, due but to one and crowned with one crest. And will you rent our ancient love asunder to join with men in scorning your poor friend? It is not friendly, 'tis not maidenly. Our sex as well as I may chide you for it, though I alone do feel the injury.
Do you like me, Kate? I'm glad thou canst speak no better English, for if thou couldst, thou wouldst think I had sold my farm to buy my crown. I know no ways to mince it in love, but to directly say that I love you, Kate. If I could win a lady at leapfrog, or by vaunting into my saddle, I should quickly leap into a wife. But before God, Kate, I have no cunning in protestation, only downright oaths, which I never use till urged, and I never break for urging. I speak to thee plain. If thou canst love me for this, then take me. If not, to say to thee that I shall die is true. Take a fellow of plain and uncoined constancy, for these fellows of infinite tongue, they can rhyme themselves into ladies' favors, but they always reason themselves out again. A good leg will fall, a straight back will stoop, a fair face might wither, but a good heart, Kate, is both the sun and the moon, or rather the sun and not the moon. If thou would have such a one, then take me. Take a soldier, take a king. How will you answer La plus belle Catherine de Montmorency? Fie upon that false French. By mine honor, in true English, I love thee, Kate. I was created with this stubborn outside, an aspect of iron, so when I come to ladies, I fright them. But in faith, Kate, the elder I wax, the better I shall appear. Put off your maiden blushes, and take me by the hand, and say, I, Harry of England, is thine, which thou shalt no sooner bless my ear with dolls, and I shall tell thee aloud, England is thine, Ireland is thine, France is thine, Harry, Plantagenet is thine. Now come, your answers are broken music, for thy voice is music, and thy English broken. Therefore, Catherine, queen of all, break thy mind to me in broken English. Wilt thou have me?
I was just 17 when you rode into town, a girl full of fantasies and longing. I saw you, I knew I had to be with you. ride your reindeer through the sky, Nick. I don't suppose you'd ever want me by your side. I know you now, you want a plaything, not a bride. So on your way, Nick. Shalom, Nick. Don't feel a need to hurry home, Nick. Should I need comfort in the cold and bitter storm, I've got the elves to keep me warm. Oh, Nick, I didn't mean it. I'm just going crazy all cooped up in here. I mean, come on. Please take me with you. I'm your wife, damn it! Isn't there 1 ounce of human decency beneath all those layers of fat? You disgust me. Oh, it's so easy for you to judge, isn't it? Deciding who's naughty and who's nice. Well, who died and made you God, Mr. Claus? But never mind, Nick. Okay, Nick. I hate to keep you from your sleigh, Nick. When you return, I will be many miles away. I'll have my lawyers call your lawyers New Year's Day. That's all from me, Nick. Gang way, Nick. I'll miss you less than I can say, Nick. Have fun with all the little boys along the route. I'll get the mansion and the factory to boot. I will not wait until the snow beneath me thaws. I will escape your Santa Claus.
We don't need to talk for you to know what I say. All you gotta do is look my way. Jimbe, 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 jump, jump. Jimbe, 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 jump, jump. The connection we have does not require contact. We have become something foreign, ancient, abstract. We speak in a language of rhythm and beat. No broken dialect, all things complete. Our marriage came from the drums. I feel you pulsing through my fingers and thumbs. We don't need to talk for you to know what I say. All you gotta do is look my way. Jimbe, 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 jump, jump. Jimbe, 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 jump, jump. The motherland is calling both of us home. We will not walk this path alone. I can see the roadmap in your eyes. We have both been reborn and baptized. I feel the warmth of the summer star. This beating and banging is going to take me far. We don't need to talk for you to know what I say. All you gotta do is look my way. Jimbe, 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 jump, jump. Jimbe, 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 jump, jump. We don't need to talk for you to know what I say. All you gotta do is look my way. Jimbe, 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 jump, jump. Jimbe, 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 jump, jump.
I'm Frankie Voss, and this is the American Standard. Okay, I'll play along. What do I want from the government? I guess you could say I don't want a damn thing from the government. I want you all to stay as far out of my life as possible. Staying out of my life includes minding your own business about my body and any decisions I make about what I do with it. It includes minding your own business if I want to smoke a joint after work. And it includes having some of my paycheck left over after some fat cat Democrat has raised taxes again. I don't really feel like discussing this anymore. You know why? It's because neither of you are actually interested in my answers to your questions. It's both of your pathetic attempts to engage someone else in a conversation on your favorite topic, yourselves. When was the last time either of you did anything other than promote yourselves and your agendas? You're supposed to be like the people, and yet you're not anything like the people. You'll spend your entire lives crammed into tiny little offices, pushing documents, or better yet, having someone else do it for you, making decisions that affect the people that you represent. And at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter whether it's a positive or a negative effect. Just as long as you get out by 5 so you can hit the bar for happy hour and flirt with the cute young interns. And why do you do it? Because you live off the excitement of beating the other fucking political party like it's a goddamn football game. And don't even get me started on the homosexual overtones in that. And then after you win, we'll never see you again. You wonder why people don't vote? You wonder why we hate politicians? There you go. Good night, boys. And stop sending me gifts, both of you. You don't know anything about women either.
Hi, my name is Sophia Stringer, and I'm going to be performing Mash's monologue from Stupid Fucking Bird. Because he's a good person. He's kind to animals and children, and he always smells like clean sheets. To love someone with all your heart and know that it can never, ever be returned. And to be loved by someone whose love you cannot possibly return. What kind of a God needs a laugh that bad? What a fucker. You know, things are just so massively fucked down here, and he just seems to be kicking back, laughing his ass off. I swear I can hear him sometimes, just chortling away, munching on some celestial buttered popcorn or whatever. Just watching us bounce around our pain-laced little lives while the world slips closer and closer to the cosmic crapper. You know what I mean. It's just you and me here, and I've read your fucking stories. Bleakness all tied up with a pretty pink bow. That's your best trick, isn't it? Look me in the eye and tell me you don't feel the exact same way. That God is dead or otherwise engaged. And our leaders, even the best of them, are errant fucking knaves and wildly self-serving pricks drunk with power and wielding sway with an arrogance and hypocrisy beyond the power of poets to name. That we're cosmically screwed, that the course towards self-destruction has been set like that self-destruct mechanism on the Enterprise. And the red lights flashing and the sirens blaring, and we've all been warned, but here's the thing, we just don't know how long the timer's been set for. So we all go prancing along, pretending to be oblivious and blithely clocking in and having kids and paying the bills, and meanwhile the economic downturn, blah, 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 and the sluggish recovery, blah, 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 and dictator Dickwad threatens to blow up some poor innocent subset of asswipes off the face of the planet. And meanwhile, the war on blah, and the war on blah, and the war on blah. I'm fine. In the fucking fucking irony is, deep down, all most of us really care about is if we can snuggle up to someone late at night who can just maybe help us to forget everything we actually know. You know what I mean. I know you know. Thank you.
Young women need a prom. It's a rite of passage, as sacred as getting your driver's license or buying your first bra. There are only a few things guaranteed to be glorious and memorable with sparkling gowns and cummerbunds. Prom is the quintessential teenage experience. And it may be the only chance I'll ever get to have to dance with a boy. Maybe I'll never have someone get down on their knee and offer me a diamond ring, but it is my right, and the right of every plain, frumpy, bookwormy, soon-to-be librarian to have one night of Cinderella magic. Even if we have to go with our cousin or our gay best friend from tap class, we will have a prom, and you will help me.
Hello, my name is Gabriella Barrett, and I will be reciting Agnes's monologue from Ludlow Fair. This is for Acting 1, Section 4. Are you asleep? Well, crap. I may be tendering my notice anyway. You've gone through 6 men while I sit around and turn to fungus? It's just not a positive atmosphere for me, honey. Not quite. You're out with handsome Val or someone, and I'm wondering if the boss's skinny bony son will come up to the water cooler if I... No stroganoff. No, I'm on a diet. No, I will not admit that. Good or bad, if he says stroganoff and baked potatoes, it's stroganoff and baked potatoes. And sour cream. And beer. He's probably on a diet himself. He could fill out, God knows. You know what Charles looks like? He looks like one of those little model men you make out of pipe cleaners in grade school. Remember those? If I ever saw Charles without his clothes off, he is so pale and white. I swear to God, I'd laugh myself silly. He's Jewish, too. I bet his mother is a nervous wreck. I bet she thinks every woman on the block is pointing at her. Look, there goes Mrs. Schwartz, starving her children to death. Poor Charles. Shakes like a leaf. Of course, Mrs. Schwartz wouldn't admit that either. No woman would admit her son was nervous. What's it got to be nervous about? The nerve of being nervous. My kid brother got an ulcer. My mother went to bed for 3 weeks. Totally destroyed. Of course, she spent about 2/3 of her life totally destroyed. Upset. Bawling. Weeks on end sometimes. My brother was great. He never paid the slightest attention to her. She'd get one of her spells and run up to bed bawling. It never bothered him for a minute. Off she'd go, the slightest provocation. Eric would say, "Mother's bedridden with the piss-offs again." I used to come home for holiday, and I'd say, "Where's Mom?" Eric would say, "Oh, she's bedridden with the piss-offs again." You know, Charles, you've got nice eyes. You really have. Deep. I like brown eyes for a man. I don't like blue eyes. They always look weak or weepy. Either that or cold, you know? Brown eyes are warm. That's good. They're gentle. Not weak, but gentle. I used to want to have a little girl with blue eyes. For a girl, that's good. So I used to always picture, idealize, really, very heavy-set blonde men. Swiss types, you know? But a son, I'd want to have brown eyes. That's better for boys. Oh, I got it at Saks. It was on sale. Now what the hell does he care where I got it from? And it wasn't on sale, knucklehead. And it wasn't Saks. It was Bonds. Not that he'd know the damn difference. Fuck. Gotta quit saying that.
Hi there, my name is Ife Disco Fly Die. I'm from Donna Snow's Acting 2 class. I'll be playing as the vampire James from the play Group Therapy and the Undead. Okay, where to start? Let's see, okay, you know what? There's a lot of pressure on vampire these days. I mean, the media has built us up to be monsters. Okay, if your definition of a monster is someone who sucks other people's blood, alright, you got me there. But do you know the kind of peer pressure that is within the culture of vampires? I mean, give me a break. Gloom and doom and black and cobwebs and coffins all over the place. These are just not for me. All that gothic stuff, come on. All those vampires are saying things like, James, vampires do not wear pastels. Or, James, vampires don't hold day jobs like hairdressers. I don't even know what they're talking about. I mean, they didn't even want me to keep my kitten. They said a vampire with a cat named Snookam just doesn't strike the terror of the heart of mortals. I mean, like, what? I don't get it. All these people are going to live forever. And do you know how they party? They sit around and complain about garlic and crosses and stakes. They don't talk about politics. They don't talk about human rights violations. They don't talk about endangered species. They don't talk about anything that's important. They think it's fun to talk about fangs and how fast they turn into bats. Bats. Do you know bats have fleas? Do you know how hard it is to get the fleas out of your hair and when it changes back? Oh, all that gothic stuff, all that seductive things. My God. And do you know what happens if you hypnotize people? they're no fun to talk to anymore. They're like zombies. And the tempers they have, oh my god. You think people are going to live forever doesn't get so stressed out? I mean, they'll blow up just at about anything. If the pizza boy puts the anchovies on the pizza when they didn't order anchovies, they'll put pizza boy on the pizza. If someone sneezes the wrong way, they go berserk like a rabid dog or something. Most of them seriously need to deal with their anger management issues. I tell ya, many people think being a vampire is cool. It's not. Being a vampire sucks. Thank you.
Well, here it is 5 p.m., the finish of a long day's work. And there they are, both of them, the secretary and the clerk. Not very well acquainted, not very much to say, but I can hear those two little minds ticking away. Now she's thinking,
I wonder if we take the same bus.
And he's thinking,
there could be quite a thing between us.
And she's thinking,
he really is a dear.
And he's thinking,
but what of my career?
And she says, and he says,
well, it's been a long day.
Well, it's been a long day. Now she's thinking,
I wish that he was more of a flirt.
And he's thinking,
I guess a little flirting won't hurt.
And she's thinking,
for dinner we could meet.
And he's thinking,
we both have got to eat.
And she says, and he says,
Gesundheit.
Thank you.
Well, it's been a long day.
Well, it's been a long day. Hey, there's a yummy Friday special at Stouffer's. It's $1.90 vegetable plate. And at the bottom of the ad, not bad, service for till $3.58. To make a bargain, make a date.
Wonderful.
It's fate.
Now she's thinking,
what female kind of trap can I spring?
And he's thinking,
I might as well forget the whole thing.
And she's thinking,
suppose I take his arm.
And he's thinking,
well, really, what's the harm?
And she says,
hungry.
And he says,
yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah! Well, it's been a long day.
Well, it's been a long day.